Hello once again, everybody, and welcome back to the 2021 Rise Uprooted Global Wellness Symposium. I am so glad you are here. This is a 5-day global conversation with authors, speakers, coaches, teachers, doctors, and other folks who have learned to recognize and embrace the wisdom and wonder of the natural world in their lives and in their work. You know, during this noisy and chaotic time in Earth's history, this event is your invitation to reconnect with your own true nature, to find healing, hope, wisdom, and inspiration in the natural world, and then apply what you're learning this week to your own well-being and that of the entire planet. That is what we are about here this week. And I am your host, Alex Strauss. And today I am excited to present my friend, Michelle King. Michelle is an intuitive guide and integrative wellness practitioner with Michelle King Coaching. And today I have actually asked Michelle to interview me so that I can talk about my favorite topic, which is mindful walking. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Michelle.
Yes, and thank you. I'm honored and grateful to be here and to be able to share in this collaborative space with such wonderful people, minds, bodies, and spirits. So thank you again for the invitation to interview you and be a part of this. In addition to being the creator of the Rise Uprooted Symposium, Alex Strauss is a medical writer, a certified natural mindfulness guide, and the author of The Mindful Walker, a simple, practical handbook for honoring the earth and ourselves every day. Through her videos, books, and membership program, she inspires busy women and enlightened guys from all walks of life to deepen their connection to the natural world and improve their mental, physical, and spiritual well-being by taking short, quiet walks in the outdoors wherever they are. And today we are talking about mindful walking, the simplest path to well-being for busy people. So Alex, how about we start with what is mindful walking?
Oh, Michelle, so glad you asked. And thanks for that lovely introduction. Mindful walking, in my definition, is just really simple. It's just about being very present, which is mindful, right? Being very self-aware and aware of just what is happening in the present moment and walking in the outdoors. And that's it. There's nothing more complicated to it than that. It is very simple. However, it is not always quite as easy as it sounds. And we'll get into that in a little bit. But that's the definition of mindful walking: being mindful, being present, being quiet, and walking in the outdoors.
And why do you call this the perfect all-in-one practice for busy people?
Well, everybody, you know, we are all going a mile a minute. We have so many things on our plate these days. We know that things are speeding up, you know, the pace of our lives. We're all going. Those of us who are really trying to be healthy and to, you know, stay sane and stuff, we are told that there are so many things that we need to do this. We need to move our bodies. We're not supposed to be sedentary. We're supposed to meditate. We're supposed to take time for ourselves every day. We're supposed to get outside sometimes. We're supposed to commune with nature. We're supposed to have fresh air. We're supposed to have me time, right? We're supposed to get off our screens. We're supposed to have, you know, do self-care, etc. And it's a lot, right? To work into, especially if you're working, if you're busy, or even if you're not working and you just have a full life, it's very hard to, you know, spend your 20 minutes meditating and spend your hour and a half in yoga class and get outside and like go to the gym and do, it's a lot. Okay. So I have found that just taking a daily walk can scratch a lot of those things off my plate all at once, because I'm moving, I'm outside, I'm getting fresh air, I'm in a meditative state, although it is not the same as meditating, but it is mindful. So I'm being mindful. I'm getting off my computer. I'm having that quiet time. I'm doing my self-care because it feels luxurious and like uplifting and happy, so it's better than a bubble bath. And I'm doing, all these things, and I'm kind of scratching this off all at once, in one, whatever amount of time I have, if it's 10 minutes or 20 minutes or an hour, I'm doing it all at once. So for me, as a person who has a lot going on, a lot of different businesses and a lot of different, balls in the air that I'm balancing, that time that I spend in my mindful walk each day is everything to me, and has become so central to my well-being. And the wonderful thing is, there's a growing body of research showing that the benefits of moving and mindfulness and also being in nature all start to kick in at about 10 minutes. So, we're not talking about something that you have to do for a long time, even just a few minutes, and the longer, the better. But just knowing that you can get real measurable benefits like, lower blood pressure, lower heart rate, lower risk for disease, higher endorphins. Those are the happy hormones, lower cortisol levels. That's the stress hormone. All of these things, including increased creativity and more compassion. That's actually a study. In a few minutes, I can't think of anything else that can give you that much benefit in such a short, it's just a short time investment. So.
Yeah, it sounds elegant, efficient, and expansive. Sign me up. Yes. So your book and brand is The Mindful Walker, but have you always been into walking?
Definitely not. And I'm kind of ashamed to say that there was a time when my kids were younger. I remember we lived in out in the middle of the country at the time, in the Midwest, where there are big long. Right now I'm in North Carolina, but they're big, wide open spaces, lots of space for walking or whatever out there where I lived. And we used to, when we would drive to church on Sunday mornings, that we would pass this woman who was always walking when we were driving to church or driving, it might have been driving home from church actually, but she was always walking along the side of the road where we would drive to church. And we laughed, we just thought, look at this crazy lady. And she would walk at any time of year. So the weather would get bad sometimes out where I lived. It would get snowy and it would get really cold and it would get really sweltering hot. And this woman was always out there. She was so diligent, and we called her the walking lady. And we just kind of laughed. We're like, there's the walking lady. Ha, look at that funny walking lady. She's always walking. And now, I've become that lady. I know that there are people in my own neighborhood who are like, there's the walking lady. So no, it has not always been a part of my life, but my life probably would have been better, easier, happier if it had. There were times in my life when I have been majorly unhappy. I've suffered with depression off and on my whole life, a low level depression as well, which, just kind of is this background thing that a lot of people have. That has been a part of my life for almost as long as I can remember. And when we moved from that area to where I currently am in North Carolina, to be closer to family and other things, was an anticipated move, something we were excited about, something that had been a long time coming. All my family is out in this area, not right close to me, but in the area. And it was a very positive thing, right? But I fell apart after that move, really, just sort of mentally. It was, moving, you've recently moved, I think, right? How stressful this is. And I had family and pets and my dog, and my husband was starting a new job. And I was, trying to unpack boxes and get the kids settled in their school and keep up my jobs and do my work. I'm a writer and continue to be creative and write. And for whatever reason, I had a very difficult time with that move. I felt very untethered and like I didn't have the support that, I mean, my family was all happy. My extended family was happy that I had moved and they were excited to have us here, but they're living their life, right? They're not, and they just assumed that I was settling in fine and that everything was good. And it was really, really a low time. I was really lonely. I didn't have the support that I had had back in that part of the country. My friends were back there. My gym was back there. We were tight on money because moving is expensive. So, and I'm in the country. I didn't have a gym close by. I didn't have my friends close by. I didn't have my normal networks close by. I like all the things that I had kind of come to depend on to support my mental health largely were not there. And at the same time, we got a dog. We got a puppy. This is a story that a lot of people out there are going to find familiar because there's more than one mindful walker been made by buying a dog for sure. But one of the enticements to the kids for moving was like, when we move, we're going to get a dog. We're going to get a puppy. So we got this puppy, but then the kids went off to school, and who's home with the puppy? Mom's home with the puppy, right? So every day the puppy has to go for a walk, especially if I didn't want the new carpets to be ruined. So I would take that puppy out and I'd go up the block and down the block and I'd just be like, take the puppy, do your business. Come on, let's go for a walk and come back in. But what happened was the more I did this, the better I felt, and it just, without my really doing much of anything, no real effort involved, I just kind of put the collar on the dog. And what I didn't do was put in an earbud or listen to music or anything. I'm not sure why. I mean, sometimes I did, but most of the time I just kind of, I don't know. I just didn't even bother to get out my stuff and do it. I just kind of put the leash on the dog and I just went. And I found that these walks became something that became very important in my life. And the more I did it, the better I felt. And the more I did it, the more I wanted to do it. And the more I found myself feeling, oh, like I really need to take my walk today. Like, I really need to get out there. And it became my walk, not just the dog's walk, but actually my walk. And I started noticing things, birds, trees, squirrels. I just started it's like my mind started waking up to things around me. And it just changed me. It changed my mental health. It changed my physical health. I started sleeping better. I found myself much less depressed. There's that dog now, much less unhappy. And okay, hang on, just
agreeing with you. It's like, yeah, so true. So true.
Probably the Amazon man. Right. Hush. Anyway,
it almost reminds me of like this natural unfolding of your path, this integrative process, like this is part of that too,
Yes, that's true. They've been so good for most of my interviews this week. And now this
yes, that's all right. Just want to chime in and say on it, this is so true.
Exactly. Yeah, but anyway, I mean, a lot of things improved, including, my mental health, but also my sleep, my weight. I had dropped some weight when I was down and it kind of just evened out, just a lot of things got better. Yeah.
Have there been any unexpected benefits of stepping onto the mindful walking path?
Yeah, I would say so. And I think that my family would definitely agree with that, because during that time, as happens when we're not very happy in ourselves, I was testy, I'm not proud, but I was not a great mom. I was not a great spouse. Everybody else was trying to settle in to their new things too. And I wasn't probably as supportive as I should have been at that point, because I was just kind of, lost in my own stuff. And so the more I spent time taking these few minutes for me every day and and for the dog, yes. But taking these few minutes to just be outside and to just go and have my quiet time, I would come back and I would be so much more able to engage with folks, able to just be patient, able to be to listen and to really be present. This is one thing that we find when people spend time in a mindfulness practice, whether it's mindfulness meditation or something like mindful walking. It can even be, being mindful while you paint or being mindful while you garden. When you have that time where you're quieting your mind and you become practiced at that and you get better at that, it translates into other areas of your life as well. So you are then able to be more present with the people in your life as well, more present no matter what. So more present in your work, more present in your relationships, more present when you're doing anything, when you're cooking a meal. And I definitely found that to be the case. I had an easier time in other areas of my life, kind of shutting off I'm definitely a habitual busy thinker. And I found it much easier. It has gotten easier over the years for me to quiet that part of myself and be present with whatever is going on. And as a result, my relationships improved. My relationship with my husband improved. My relationship with my kids, my friends, and I would say even my work relationships, with clients and stuff, those improved. Another kind of unexpected benefit from spending time taking a mindful walk was that it's almost as though it expands time, because I know it sounds counterintuitive, but I started getting more done. I was definitely more productive and more, I don't know if efficient is the word, but so I'm a writer, and I don't know, do you write sometimes, Michelle? For anybody who
Oh,
has to
absolutely. Yes.
Have you ever had that when you sit down at a blank screen and there's cursor is sitting there and you're like, your hands are poised over the keys, ready to write that great thing you're going to write, whether it's an email or a novel or whatever it is, and you just are like, oh crap, I don't know what to write. I don't even know where to start. And then, I write a little something and then I'd be like, oh, that sucks, and then erase it. And I mean, there were times when I just couldn't, my self-expression was not there. My creativity was not there. And so because my job depends on these things, my productivity was not there either. I just wasn't getting it done. And I'd spend a lot of time kind of trying to slog through things. And what I found, and what I continue to find, is that when I take the time to take even a short walk, and sometimes I'm able to do that a couple of times a day, like a couple of 10-minute walks or longer if I have the time, I come back to my computer and I'm faster, I'm sharper, I'm more productive. I sit down and it flows out of me. And I don't know what that is, but science backs that up as well. We're more creative after we spend time in nature. And that's a real study. That's a 2014 Stanford study where they found that creativity is boosted by 60% from walking, from being outdoors and walking. So I just know from personal experience, I get more done, I'm more productive, I'm more creative, I do better stuff, I'm a nicer person, and a lot of things just are easier when I'm taking this time, for myself and to support my mental health and my physical well-being as well. Yeah.
Well, I know I can relate with what you're sharing. I'm sure a lot of the viewers can too, with getting outside and that movement and creativity to flow. So this all sounds so simple. Why do you think most people don't make mindful walking a regular practice?
So I think that there's kind of a misperception that in order to get the benefits of being in the outdoors, that you have to go somewhere or take a bigger chunk of time, that you need to go to a forest, for instance, or somewhere, climb a mountain, or you need to, this is something that you need, an hour and a half to go somewhere. You need to be able to walk on a beach. We are all inspired by beautiful landscapes. I am no different. I love to be in the forest. I live near a woods and I love to be able to walk in the forest. I love to walk on the beach. I'm inspired by that. I'm inspired by mountaintop experiences. But the reality is, most of us do not have time on a daily basis to go climb a mountain or walk in the woods. I mean, many of us live far from woods. We live in a city, and it's so I think that one thing that keeps people from realizing some of these benefits of just really the simplest form of mindful walking, which is literally just quieting your mind, settling into yourself, giving yourself a sec to just let your thoughts kind of settle like a snow globe, and then just taking a few minutes to walk outside, literally around the block or down to the mailbox and back, whatever it is for you. I think that misperception is keeping people from taking advantage of that. And so, part of my mission here is to remind people that I am not dissing, forest bathing experiences, and they're wonderful to have this kind of and certainly can you make big strides if you go and, immerse yourself in go to Sedona or something and have an experience for days or something, or go on a retreat and immerse yourself. And yes, of course you can have wonderful benefits of that, but it doesn't discount the wonderful incremental benefits that add up over time of just taking little bits of time in nature. And I always say to people, it's about the synergy, right, of this movement, walking, which is something we can all do. You don't need any equipment or training or expertise. We can all do it. Walking and being mindful, which is just, as we said, being present, and then being in nature. So we know that all three of these things are beneficial by themselves, right? But when we put them together, there's this synergistic effect where we get more than any one of these practices by themselves. So I say, if you can walk and be mindful and be outside, you're going to get the most benefit, right? But if you can't walk, for whatever reason, you sprained your ankle, you have a disability, it's sleeting and it's not pleasant, right? If you can't walk, but you can be mindful and you can be outside, you're going to get benefit. Okay, so that means quietly standing on your deck or standing in your garden. Like, you can get benefit just from standing there. If what are my things here? This one's mindful, I think, and this one is being outside. So if you can't, be mindful for whatever reason, because I don't know, there's a chainsaw going, or you're on a phone call, you're on a conference call, and you're not able to be mindful, but you can be outside, you're going to get benefit, right? And if you can't be, I don't want to stick up my one finger, but if you can't be mindful, but you can walk, so you walk and you be in nature, right? I mean, you know what I'm saying? So if you're able to mindfully walk, but you can't do it outside, you can do it on a treadmill. You won't get as much benefit, but if you can be present in your body and take some deep breaths and be present with yourself, that's not watching TV, that's not listening to music, but if you can be mindful and you can walk, then if you can't be outside, you'll still get benefit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you pick. If you can do all three, you're going to get the most benefit. But if you can only do one, or you can do two, then there you go. Then you're going to get benefit from that as well. And it's so simple. So, yeah.
So inspiring. Yes. So what is one tip to help people either get started with their mindful walking practice or be more consistent with the practice that they already have?
Yeah, I think the most important thing is for folks to stop seeing it as an indulgence and start seeing it as something that is critical to your mental, physical, and even your spiritual well-being. Stop imagining that it's a luxury or that you are, I don't know, you're kind of sneaking out to take your walk, like you're just doing this naughty thing to step away from your desk and go take your 10 minutes or something. Like, ooh, it's not just a luxury. It is critical. It is critical. And when you begin to see it as, and then talking about it like that, I have had to educate my family. This isn't something that I'm just doing for fun, because that is how a lot of people perceive it, right? Like, oh, Michelle's just leaving. She's just going out for a walk, you know. This is my time that I need for me. This is important for my work. This is important for my relationships. This is important for my bottom line, my money-making ability. This is important for my creativity. This is important for my spiritual well-being. This is important for my blood pressure. You know, it's like all of these things. So when you begin to see it that way, think about it that way in your own head, and educate the people around you, whether it's your workmates or it's your family, that this is something that I need. And you're going to benefit from it as well, because I'm going to be a nicer person when I get back. And if it's your boss, you know, if you can take 10 minutes during work or during lunch, you know, that's a time that a lot of people have a few minutes for themselves. So, you know, you can go out and maybe just walk around the building or something, and let the folks around you know, this is my recharging time, and the time that is important for me. And begin to, another tip that I heard a few years ago that I really liked, instead of thinking of yourself as someone who takes walks or someone who likes to go for walks, you say to yourself, I am a walker. I am a mindful walker. And it kind of internalizes the practice. It becomes part of who you are. And so now, early on, I did feel like a lady who occasionally takes walks. I'm a woman who walks, but now I'm a mindful walker. I just, like if you're a yogi, right? I'm a yogi. I'm a gardener. I'm a cyclist. I'm a mindful walker. It's something that I do for me, and it's part of my identity, and it's important to me. So yeah, that would be my number one tip, is to kind of begin thinking of it differently. Yeah. Sorry about the dogs, guys.
Well, that sounds like total integration and embodiment of your true nature. Beautiful. And I know you have a free gift for the viewers. You want to share more?
I do. And I'm excited about this. This is something that I made last year, you guys, in the midst of pandemic stress. A lot of what we were hearing was that folks were just really stressed out. Everything from the world situation to trying to do school from home or work from home was just really messing with people's heads. I know we're not out of the woods yet, but last year was especially problematic. And I made this program called Nurture Your Nature, reconnect with the earth, quiet your busy mind, and feel calmer now. And this is a downloadable audio training and a bundle of resources. So it's a PDF. There's a bunch of affirmations in these real pretty little cards. And then there's a affirmation walkthrough, and there's a downloadable audio that you can listen to, and you can go out and walk. I think it's about 15, 20 minutes. So it's a perfect length. And it just gives you a little sample of the synergy of these things, right? Walking and nature and mindfulness. And it's specifically about stress. It's specifically for folks who are feeling a little tension and want it, you know, for stress relief. And even if you're not that stressed right now, I normally sell this for $27, and it's free to you with the coupon code that's going to be here on this page. It's RISE21NYN, and the coupon's on this page. So when you go to that URL that's on that page, you're going to see a buy button. You go to that, and then you need to put in that coupon in order to get it for free, but you can get it for free. So even if you're not especially stressed out right now, I would recommend that you just go grab it, download it. It's downloadable, so you stick it on your computer or on your phone and just have it for whenever you might be stressed out, and then you can access it.
Wonderful. Well, thank you again for the invitation to be a part of this amazing, beautiful symposium. It's been a true honor and a joy, and I'm just so celebrating it all.
Thank you, Michelle, and thank you for being willing to interview me. I appreciate it. Take care. See you later, guys.